So allulose is something I wanted to talk about because I think it's another um, piece of evidence for just looking into something like the keto diet. Because until I went keto, I wasn't thinking about sugar alternatives. And when I went keto, I started thinking about sugar alternatives. And so before I go on, this again is going to be about uh, a sugar alternative. Is actually a sugar itself. It's a rare sugar that is derived from fruit, things like figs and maple syrup and things like that. So it's actually something that be very, very beneficial for those who will look into it. I actually started using allulose as an alternative sugar before I knew about all of this. I've used stevia, I've used erythritol, and those are the main two, monk fruit. Those are the main three that I started using when I was first doing keto almost or over 7 years ago. And I didn't know this about allulose, but now that I know this about allulose, it's something definitely that I will be recommending moving forward. So I wanted to um, show or talk about this study, and there's a few studies. There's even human studies on allulose that show its benefits and its effectiveness at increasing GLP-1 or glucagon like peptide 1, which is the same thing that is simulated in the drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy that are being very effective. And I was skeptical of these drugs at first. And two was I think the devil is in the dose here. And there are a few doctors online that talk about the effectiveness of these GLP-1 drugs and how microdosing actually is the way to go versus getting the standard doses. Some of the side effects that people are having from the standard doses are not that great, and you can run into bone loss and muscle loss and things like that if you are not um, also doing what it takes to maintain your bone and your muscle. So this is a study. It's called the Metabolic and Endocrine Effects of a 12-week allulose-rich diet. Now, this particular study here is done on mice, but the results are kind of interesting and profound. There are some other studies, and I'll try to link those other human studies in here as well, where those weren't, at least the ones that I've found to date, aren't necessarily looking at GLP-1, but it's looking at metabolic health. And there are, I think they were looking at least one of the studies that I was reading was looking at the metabolic health effects that allulose may have or may not have. And those are positive as well. And if I find some of the other studies that talk specifically about what this mouse study talked about, then I'll link those as well. So allulose can influence the satiety cascade and reduce caloric intake. And you will hear from, at least from the folks that I know that take the GLP-1 drugs, is that it reduces their appetite, so they're not overeating, so they're not binging on the junk, so it allows them to actually lose the weight. And I've heard from some of the other doctors that I follow online that they've gone to microdosing. Let's say someone cannot or will not do what it takes for the diet to be effective, like the keto diet to be effective. And I think there is a link between the keto diet and or the mechanisms of the keto diet um, and its ability to generate ketones and beta hydroxybutyrate, the butyrate in particular. I think there's a link there because as I um, got more into the keto diet and actually studying it and what its effects are, one of the things that is discovered or has been discovered is that the keto diet is not just for weight loss. There are, I mean, as a matter of fact, it was started for epilepsy, right, to help people who were not responding to the drugs. Um, and they found that putting them on a ketogenic diet actually suppressed seizures. And so that is a neuroprotective effect of the keto diet. And it can also, what's recently being discovered and studied is not only can it help the brain in that way, but dementia, traumatic brain injuries, and things of that nature. So I think there's a link there because these GLP-1 drugs also are having other benefits, not just weight loss. They have other neuroprotective benefits as well. So, yeah, reading this again, allulose can influence the satiety cascade and reduce caloric intake. It has significant increases in active GLP-1. If you look at the study that I'm going to link, you'll see that it actually goes from it doubles the GLP-1 over time um, from the allulose consumption, and it enhances glucose tolerance and reduces weight gain. Right. So think about this: a natural sweetener that does not increase glucose or increase blood sugar, does not promote weight gain. It actually promotes the reduction of weight gain, so promotes weight loss. So yeah, I thought this thing here was interesting. I'm already using it, right? Because I dumped sugar a long time ago. You mostly use the alternatives, and started with stevia, incorporated erythritol and monk fruit, and now allulose. And none of these others have the impact, this particular GLP-1 impact, like allulose. So hey, look it up. I'll drop some of these studies in the description, as well as some links to some products that already incorporate allulose. So you can also buy allulose and use it in your coffee, your tea, things like that. So you could potentially get these benefits as well, using an alternative sugar. So there's no excuse for, you know, diving or continuing to um, overindulge in sugary drinks or in sugar. One of the best things that you can do for your health when you're first getting on this journey is stop drinking sugar. All right, stop drinking sugar, stop eating additional sugar. And now you have an alternative that actually mimics, or is actually the natural Ozempic or the natural Wegovy allulose. Check it out.